Hi everyone, this is James from Wanderlust FP, and today I'm going to show you how to replace all of the media within your project. So if you've been following along with my workflow, then you're probably using an Apple ProRes proxy codec to do all of your editing. And then when you come to the end of the editing process, you then need to replace that footage with a higher quality version so you can move on to the next phase of production, such as color grading or doing any motion graphics, for example. So on our timeline, we've got all of our different clips cut to how we want them. And then in our browser, we have a number of different clips within bin folders. Now for the purpose of this tutorial, this one specific clip here has not been used on the timeline whatsoever. Just the same as you may have clips that you may not have used within your project as well. So to start the replacement, the first thing we're going to do is select a clip within the browser, hit Command A to select everything, and then right click and say Reconnect Media. And this brings up the Final Cut Pro Reconnect dialog box. Here you can see all of the different clips that we're using and their root folders that they're contained within. If you click search, it will search within this folder here, so don't click that because it will take a long time and it will go through all the folders and the subfolders. What we want to do is click locate. So we click locate and it's brought up this little pop-up box and it's brought us to the root folder for the first clip. Now this so happens to be the proxy folder, which we don't want to use. So we need to navigate to a different folder. So I know where my clips are stored. So what I want to do is replace all of this footage with the footage from my camera. So I'm going to go into the camera folder, find the first clip. Now you see how I've kept the hierarchy the same in both folders. This will make it easier to reconnect. Go into the fishing folder, and then here's my clip. The name matches. I'm going to click choose. And now you can see that all of the files have been replaced and they're using the new folders, raw lacquerware, raw fishing and raw temple, instead of the proxy version of those. So if I click connect, all of my footage has now been replaced by the stuff from my camera. And I've got this horrible red line because it's now been replaced with H.264 footage. And just to show you, if I bring it down here, you can see here that these clips have now got H.264 instead of proxy, which was my original one. And just to make sure that everything is disconnected, I'm going to take my proxy folder, and you can either put an underscore or just change the file name, or if you really want, you can delete it. It's entirely up to you. So now that I've replaced that folder, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to do a quick save. So project, save as, and I'm just going to call it file replacement 2. So I've saved my project, and now the next step is to isolate all of the clips that we're using and separate them from the clips that we're not using. So to do that, we're going to go to File and select Media Manager. Now the Media Manager dialog box is going to open, and in the media section what we want to do is make sure that Move is selected from the list. And we want to include our render files, because if we've had to render anything to process it in Final Cut Pro, we want to move that file with it. And we want to make sure that delete unused media from duplicated items is also selected. And we want to use the existing file names, not the clip names. So these are the names of the files themselves, not the ones that we've renamed the clips down here in Final Cut. So existing file names, and in the project section we want to make sure that duplicate selected items and place into new project is selected, and include non-active multi-clip angles. And then we just need to set the destination that we want to move everything to. So in this instance I'm just going to go down to folder. I'm going to make a new folder for this, and I'm going to call it replaced. So I've moved everything and I've called it replaced, and I'm going to say choose and click OK. And now, because I'm making a new project with all of this in, I want to create a new project name. So in this instance I'm going to call it File Replacement Replaced. You can come up with a much more creative name, I'm sure, but just for this instance this is what we're going to call it. And we're going to click save. And it's going to bring us this warning dialog box just to say that it's going to move clips and everything and you can't undo it. But we're just going to say continue for this. Now depending on how many clips you've got on your project, this could take quite a while, but for me, because I've only got a few there, it's relatively fast. And you can see what's happened now is Final Cut has made two files. So the original project that was called File Replacement 2 and the new project that has our new files in it. And if I just open this new one, you can see that both timelines are identical. And just to show you, I'll rename this one Replaced. So this is the replaced one that matches up to here, and this is the original. So both timelines are the same, but the difference is that we've lost our hierarchy with our folders. However, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 clips in here, whereas before there are 5 clips. So we've not used this clip. This clip has been left in its original location. So if I show Reveal in Finder, you can see that this clip is in my raw fishing folder, whereas this clip is in a new folder, which is in the replace folder that you saw me create. Final Cut's put it into a media folder, and then it's put it into a folder that's associated to the project name, and it's put all of the clips within that one folder. So this is great. What's happened is we've moved all of the footage from our camera folder to a new location without having to duplicate it or anything like that. So the next step now is we don't want to work with this footage when we're doing things like color grading and motion graphics, because it's not got the kind of data rate that we want to be using. We want something with a higher data rate. So what we're going to do now is convert this footage into an Apple ProRes 444 codec and replace that. So we have to navigate to our footage, which is in Replaced, Media, and this is all of the footage from our camera. And we're going to open Compressor and put that into Compressor. So we're in Compressor and we're going to place our footage from our camera in here. I'm just going to go deselect, put our 444 on there, select our designated location. In this instance, I have a temporary one set up that I'm going to use. And then we're going to select it, click off, Command A, hold it down, Command click on the first one, Command V to paste that setting onto everything else, and we're going to click Start Batch. So once that's finished, find the folder with all of your newly encoded footage, and we're going to use that to replace the footage from our camera. So again, we're going to select something in the browser, hit Command A, and then right click and say Reconnect Media, locate again. We're going to come out of this folder. We're going to navigate to our Apple ProRes 444 footage that we just made and connect the first clip. And you can see it's connected everything for us because the file structure was the same. Click Connect, and there you go. Now we have all of our 444 codec that's been replaced with the footage from our camera, and it's all in the same place. And now we can start moving on to the next phase of the production process. So the final thing to do is just to change your timeline settings to match everything else. So in this instance, we need to change it to a 444 codec, and we want to make sure that our audio is in line with the rest of the audio that's being used, and in this case it is. And we know that we're running on square and the aspect ratio is okay, but this is where you need to check all of these things and make sure everything is in line with the footage that you're using so you don't end up with any problems later. So when you're done with that, just click OK, and that's it, guys. Just to recap, what we've done is we've replaced all of the Apple ProRes proxy footage with the stuff from our camera, and then used that information in the project to find all of the footage from our camera that's being used and move it to a new location, leaving all of the unused media from our camera in its original location. So everything to do with this project is all in one place. Then, once we've kept everything from the project in one place, we've then found the media from our camera, transcoded it into Apple ProRes 444, and then put that in the location along with all of the other stuff from our project, again keeping it all in one place. And then we've replaced all of the footage within the project with the final 444 codec footage, and now we're ready to move on to the next phase of the production process. If you've got any questions, just drop them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer. Thanks guys.